Well, we're just rolling into mule deer country. Seemed like it took a while to get here, but I think it's because we were so excited. There's 2 elk out, it looks like a cow and a calf, and a bunch of mule deer. It should be an awesome weekend of hunting, and I'm really hoping we can get a mule deer.
We did see 2 nice bucks. One he looked really big. We were looking off into the willows, and I seen a big velvet rack sitting there. Pretty cool. I mean, it'd been awesome to tag out on that deer, but it just means we gotta chase some more mule deer. Well, it's been a great morning so far, and we managed to put some bucks to bed. Man, oh man, there's some really nice deer in this group. We're gonna get after it now. We got a perfect wind. Smoked him. Oh, guys, that's redemption. Every year it just gets better and better, and that's a big, giant velvet buck.
My name's Mitchell Payment. I started tagging along with my dad to go hunting basically since I learned to walk. I grew up living the outdoor lifestyle, learning from my dad and any hunting video I could get my hands on as a kid.
Got a date with a big buck tonight.
Once I turned 12, the legal age to hunt, we started taking things more serious than ever.
This is our second attempt on getting a buck. Spawn Stalk mule deer.
Working hard and learning through experience to better our odds to fold our tags on the animals we were pursuing. It has helped us grow into who we are now. Welcome to Season 4 of Moment of Truth TV.
Smoked him. He's got a big head on him, wide ears.
I'm at a loss for words.
Oh, he's so nice and mature.
He is such an awesome buck. I crushed him, Mitch. He's a dream buck. Look at that drop. That was unbelievable.
Well, the truck's all loaded up. We're getting ready to head down south to meet up with Grandpa on our annual trip. We're gonna be hunting primarily mule deer, but I'm super stoked. I'm hoping that we can draw first blood this year, and this is always a fantastic trip, one of my favorite trips of every year. So we're gonna hit the road. We got a bit of a drive ahead of us. We're gonna get down there, set up camp, and maybe get some permission tonight and focus on mule deer tomorrow morning. So let's get after it. We're just rolling into mule deer country. Seemed like it took a while to get here, but I think it's because we were so excited. But tonight we're just getting permission, and we're just rolling up to one of the farmers' houses that we've killed some really nice deer on, and hopefully we can maybe see a nice buck on here again this year and stalk them. But Grandpa talked to the one older gentleman and got us permission in there again, just like every other year. But it's getting late. We're gonna head over to camp and then peek our nose around, maybe see a muley buck tonight and get on them in the morning. But I'm super stoked. Well, we just got permission, and we got some really good permission at that. Same farmers that always allow us to go in, and they're very kind to do so. But we're just glassing this hillside, and it's like almost like a green alfalfa with maybe a mixture of grasses, and there's 2 elk out. It looks like a cow and a calf, and a bunch of mule deer, and even a couple whitetails. So this is really cool. I can't wait to be hunting in here. It should be an awesome weekend of hunting, and I'm really hoping we can get a mule deer, and maybe if we see a prairie bull, we might pursue it. So We're just gonna keep watching and maybe a big buck will come out. We're just getting camp all set up here, getting the cots out, the sleeping bags. We forgot pillows, so we had to stop at Walmart and buy some pillows. They're super high quality. It's gonna be an awesome sleep. But Grandpa's here. He kind of got camp all set up before us, before we got here.
Is it gonna be a good weekend, Grandpa?
Yeah, it should be very good.
Yeah, but I can't believe.
Hungry.
Yeah, and I can't believe the amount of deer that we've seen just driving here. So it should be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Good night. Don't let the mice bite. We'll see you in the morning.
Moment of Truth TV is brought to you by RV City, generations of family fun. Ole Smokes Coffee, coffee for the courageous. iHunter app, know your regs inside and out. Tacticam, share your hunt. Sights and Arms, your firearm specialists. And by Prime Archery, the most accurate bows on the planet. This segment is brought to you by RV City for all your trailer repair, and camping needs. Located in Mornville and Nisku, Alberta.
Well, it's the first morning here. We're just getting ready to go to our lookout spot. It's a bit foggy this morning, but I'm hoping it's a bit of a drive to where we look out and hopefully put a buck to bed. So I'm hoping the fog's cleared there, but we're gonna hop in the truck and get after it. Well, we're just getting ready to go up on this high vantage point to do some looking around. We couldn't go to the one we planned on going to because the fog was so thick, but it cleared up here pretty nicely. So we're gonna go up there. Same hill my dad shot his muley buck on last year, so I'm bringing my bow just in case we see one close. We did see a really nice one coming in over here, so maybe we can see him. I think he's in one particular slough bed and brush, but we just couldn't see him from the road. So we're gonna get up there and hopefully put a buck to bed. So we're perched up on this hill. We got up here in the fog, there was zero visibility. We were laying here, we actually fell asleep for an hour and we woke up and it was perfectly clear and the deer are out. So we see a bunch of does to start, but we're hoping we can lay eyes on the shooter buck and put him to bed and get some action rolling. But it's an absolutely gorgeous morning once that fog cleared up, clear skies and the sun is shining. Well, there was two little spikers out in this standing crop and one had laid down and I could barely see him surprisingly. So I was just glassing the field and we spotted another buck. He's a little bit bigger, but he's still not what we're looking for, but it's pretty cool.
Unable to put any shooter bucks to bed, we decided to go for a walk to see if we could come across the two bucks we seen in the fog, one being an absolute giant. Not knowing exactly where they are, we decided to crest in the last hill we seen them on and glass in hopes we could spot one bedded. With no sign of them, we decided to itch forward through the buck brush when 40 yards in front of us, two bucks got up and bolted away, one being an absolute giant mainframe 190 class deer. I proceeded to run a couple hundred yards to the next biggest hill to try to get back on these bucks, but unfortunately they were long gone. Well, we're going on our first official stalk attempt. We were driving down a goat trail and we were looking off into the willows and I seen a big velvet rack sitting there. It was hard to tell what he was, but I think he's a good mainframe 4x4, so we got the wind perfect. We're gonna sneak down and hopefully get within range. It's about almost 5 o'clock now, so they should be getting up in the next couple hours and I'm hoping we're in position and we can let an arrow fly. So I'm super stoked. Hopefully we can get a kill and stick bloody and have a big buck down on the ground. So let's go to see what happens. After sneaking down a row of willows on the opposite side of the slough bed, we were able to get close enough to get a visual on the big velvet rack sticking out from the brush. Waiting for an hour for this buck to rise from his bed with some close calls where it looked like he was going to get up, we stayed patient. With it getting later in the day and the sun beginning to set, the buck finally rose from his bed. Now browsing on the willows and his massive velvet frame lit up by the sun, it had my heart racing. Finally, the buck turned his head, presenting me his shoulder, so I took the shot.
Well, that was an interesting evening. This morning was just a total write-off with the fog, and we thought today was going to be tough, but we ended up getting close to some big deer. To start off the morning, we probably got close to, he looked like 180-inch typical, and then we were just driving down the road, and off in a slough bed, we see big velvet tines. So we drove down the road. We had permission on that piece of property, so we got down in the ditch, we went into the field, and we snuck all the way down and got within 46 yards after a stalk. And after about 45 minutes an hour, he got up, and I wanted to get an arrow in this deer bad because he looked big. And he was facing us to start, and he was nibbling on some willow branches and whatnot. And then he turned to kind of scratch his back, and what I could see is his butt, his shoulder, and everything. So it looked like he was broadside. I put my bottom pin right on his shoulder and let it fly, but when I shot, and evidently I did make a good shot from what we can tell from the video, but when he turned and spun, I just grazed his back and just caught hair. And we watched this deer. We stayed on him hard because we wanted to make sure that he wasn't wounded. And he ran, oh, I can't even describe how far he ran. Miles and miles and miles, and over the next hill. And actually we just went and walked back there just to see if we could see anything. And he is long gone. So he just learned a good lesson there. He's not gonna be bedding in this plain sight from the road probably anymore. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it'd been awesome to tag out on that deer, but it just means we get to chase some more mule deer, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So we're gonna head back to camp and just recuperate for tomorrow, and hopefully we can get back on a shooter buck.
Oh, that one's gonna haunt me, but hopefully we can get some redemption. This segment is brought to you by Sights and Arms for all your firearm, shooting, and hunting needs. Also, get booked for the best firearm training, shooting sports, and reloading courses today. It's the dawn of a beautiful new day in southern Alberta, and both Dad and myself are perched up on separate hills, hoping to put a couple shooter bucks to bed. I was fortunate enough to quickly spot a herd of deer heading back to bed, with two giant velvet frames sticking out within the group. Watching these beautiful bucks slowly graze out of the field was a sight to behold. With these bucks heading towards a willow bluff in a draw, all I could hope for now was I could keep close tabs on them and watch them bed up for the day. As I was watching the bucks go to bed, I glanced to my right and seen two giant hardhorn racks going into a slough bed, giving us another option and two different stalk attempts on the morning.
Okay, I'm up on this hill here. There's two bucks out here. There's a group of 5. There's 2 that they're not too bad, but they're not exactly what we're looking for. But Mitch just called and he put a whole bunch to bed, so that spot had a lot more deer than this spot today. So he's coming to pick me up, and we're gonna head over there and hopefully do some stalking. So stay tuned.
Well, it's been a great morning so far. Dad and I both did our own scouting, and we managed to put some bucks to bed. The bucks we're going to be going in on right now, I spotted, and man, oh man, there's some really nice deer in this group. I'm not even sure. There was 5 to start with, and I ended up seeing 4 go to bed, but there could be some really big deer in there. There's 2 big velvet bucks, and then 2 smaller hardhorn bucks. And we spooked that typical 180 not too far from here yesterday, and he could be in there with them. I wasn't sure. He went in right at first light if it was him. And for backup, I spotted another group that went into a slough bed with some really nice bucks. So should be a great morning of hunting, but we're just gonna go down this fence line, get to this creek, go down the creek bed and get into where these bucks are at. We got a perfect wind. You just never know. It's gonna be tough, but still, we might be able to make our way just over the hill and hopefully see them bedded and get a release an arrow. But we're gonna get after it now, and hopefully we get to let a killing stick fly. Well, we're about halfway there. We're in the field just before where they're bedded. I think we're gonna be able to come over a little hill and into them. It's gonna be hard to say, but we're gonna have to belly crawl and hope the little guys don't spook and we can get a visual on the big guys. So we're gonna just make our way in there slowly, and fingers are crossed that we can make it happen. So we just crawled to the top of this hill, and we're about 100 yards away. They're bedded on the edge of the willows, so we're gonna go around this bend and hopefully get within range. It's a super long shot, but at least we have them located. Fingers crossed. Let's make this happen.
While slowly belly crawling through the tall grass, we were able to keep a visual on the giant velvet rack sitting on the edge of the willows. Cutting down the distance yard by yard, I could hear a flock of Hungarian partridges starting to get nervous. Once I hit the 50-yard mark, the Huns flew and the giant buck rose from his bed. Not knowing how long the buck would stay standing, I quickly nocked an arrow and got ready for the shot.
Smoked him. Absolutely crushed him, Dad. Absolutely crushed him. He can't go far. Look at that heart shot. Yes! Yes!
Moment of Truth TV is brought to you by Revolution Armory, Canada's best custom shotguns. G5 Outdoors, designed to hunt. Enforcer Ozone, #1 predator in odor control. Reveal cellular cameras, always on the hunt. Killin' Sticks, where the blood trail begins. And by Score Ammunition, proudly Canadian. This segment is brought to you by the iHunter app. Know your regs, where you're hunting or plan to go, right on your mobile device.
Smoked him. Absolutely crushed him, Dad. Absolutely crushed him. He can't go far. Look at that heart shot. Yes! Yes!
I quickly decided to run to the closest hill to see if I could get a visual on where he was going, but by the time I got there, he was nowhere to be seen.
Well, guys, we just did the best stalk of our lives. We belly crawled in, 150 yards on the bucks I put to bed this morning. Some Huns flew up, wow, mid-stalk, and he freaking got up. There's like, the grass is this tall, so I came to full draw. I was shaking, because it all just happened so fast, and the shot broke, and it went hard, guaranteed. It was tucked in. Oh, guys, that's redemption. I don't even know what to say. Every time we get a muley, I'm always like, it feels surreal. Like, how did that happen? That's the best feeling ever. Like, I feel so, it's just every year it just gets better and better, and that's a big giant velvet buck, and he should be dead.
We then started taking up the blood trail, and with my eyes in disbelief, I seen his velvet rack upright in the first bluff. I quickly got another good arrow in him and knew he wasn't going to take it far.
I think he's done, Dad.
After running 80 yards, he stopped for a short period of time before crashing into a willow bluff. While the giant buck was going down, a coyote had been watching this all unfold and walked right by me at 20 yards, presenting a perfect broadside shot.
Well, we were just trailing him, and the last we seen him was in this willow bluff, and he never came out, and we gave him about 10 minutes, so let's go in here. I'm about 99.9% sure he's down and in here. It was crazy. This deer is probably the strongest deer we've ever hunted. He's amazing. Last I seen him, he went in right here. Oh, baby, I see velvet. and it ain't moving. He's done. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we got a full velvet giant. Look at that first shot, just incredible. Look at that, Dad. Oh my gosh, his back forks are incredible. Look at his back forks. Well, everyone, here he is, just an incredible Alberta prairie mule deer. Every year it just seems to get better and better. I don't even know what to say. A lot of times I'm speechless when we're on this hunt. Coming into this morning, we're out for redemption. Both Dad and I got on a high point to look and scout like we do every other year. And I had most of the luck with the big deer. I put these guys to bed in a willow bush, so we belly crawled in, the most amazing stalk we've ever done, and some huns flew up. He stood up and I had to draw my bow while tucked down in the grass. It was just the most incredible thing, and I got up on him, put my 50 pin right on him, and absolutely pinwheeled him. The shot was absolutely perfect, right behind the shoulder. All in all, it was such an incredible hunt down here with Dad and Grandpa. I enjoy it every year. We're gonna get this guy all packed up, put him in the cooler and preserve the meat, and bring this velvet right to the taxidermy to get preserved. But it was just an incredible hunt, and I'm so glad you guys were able to come along with me and experience this. Thank you.
Good job, Mitchell. That was an amazing shot.
Thanks, Dad.
Closed captioning is brought to you by RV City, located in Mornville and Nisku, Alberta.